Let's talk about a really big question, one that sits at the very heart of Christianity. If God is perfect, and we as humans are, well, not, how is a real connection even possible? Today, we're going to unpack a sermon that gives us a powerful visual answer, a bridge.
Okay, so our starting point, the whole idea we're diving into, it kicks off right here with this one single line from the book of Hebrews. And I want you to notice that specific wording. Christ appears on our behalf. He's not just there, he's there for us. He's our representative. Right? So that immediately leads to the next most logical question. I mean, if we were made for a relationship with God in the first place, why on earth would we need a go-between? To really get the answer, we have to first understand the problem that this whole idea is trying to solve.
So, before we can even talk about the solution, we've got to understand the problem. And the sermon we're looking at paints this picture of a problem as a massive chasm, a great divide between God and humanity.
You see, the speaker's whole point is, this divide wasn't the original plan at all. The original design wasn't about distance, it was about connection. God being our God and us being his people is like two sides of the same coin. The identities were wrapped up in each other. And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the problem. When you put them side by side, it's crystal clear. On one side, you've got God, who is defined by absolute perfection, total holiness. And on the other side, well, that's us, imperfect and separated from that perfection. There's just a fundamental mismatch. And look, this isn't just some abstract philosophical idea, right? The sermon is saying this divide has real, tangible, and often painful consequences in our world. When people are cut off from how they were designed to be, it leads to the exact kind of brokenness we see all around us, from corruption and abuse of power to our fractured families and even our own internal struggles. So here's the kicker. The crucial point is this. No matter how hard we try, no matter how sincere we are, or how religious we try to be, our efforts coming from the imperfect side are just not enough. They can't build a bridge to the perfect side. The gap is just too wide for us to cross on our own. Okay, so if our best efforts fall short, then what's the answer? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The speaker proposes that the solution doesn't come from our side of the chasm at all. The bridge has to be built from God's side, reaching out to us.
And that is a massive shift in perspective, right? Instead of humanity trying to earn or work its way back, the sermon explains that God is the one who takes the initiative. He's the one who provides the guarantee, the complete assurance that this connection can actually be restored.
Wow. And this quote from the sermon, it just nails it, doesn't it? The point is so powerful. A distant, untouchable God isn't really helpful in this situation. For the solution to actually mean anything to us, it had to involve a God who could step into our world, who could become human and understand our reality from the inside out. So how does this bridge get built? The sermon lays it out in these 4 key steps, all centered on Jesus. First, he became fully human. He stepped right onto our side of the divide. Second, he lived a perfect life, meeting God's standard of holiness. Third, he offered himself as a single, complete sacrifice for all time. And fourth, because of all that, he now stands in God's presence as our permanent representative. And to really get why this is such a game changer, the sermon puts it up against the old system of worship from the Old Testament. That way involved priests making animal sacrifices over and over and over again. They were like a temporary fix, a constant reminder of the problem, but they could never truly solve it. Christ's action, on the other hand, is presented as something totally different, a one-time, perfect, and permanent solution. Okay, so we've got the problem, this huge divide. We've got the solution, this perfect bridge. So what? What's the result for us, right now, today? What does that actually change? What it creates is something the Bible calls a new and living way. And let's break that down. It's new because it's not just a patch-up job on the old, broken path. It's a completely different kind of access to God. And it's living because it's active and powered by Christ himself. It's a path based entirely on what he has already finished for us. And check this out, this new way, it comes with a 100% guarantee. The sermon is super clear about this. Our confidence in approaching God isn't based on how good we feel that day, or how strong our faith feels, or if we've had a good week. The assurance is 100% based on the reliability and the perfection of the bridge that God himself has built. All right. So the theological bridge is in place. Access is guaranteed. But what does that actually look like in our day-to-day lives? The sermon wraps up by making this incredibly practical, shifting the focus from just me, the individual, to us, the group.
And here's the thing. The sermon's big takeaway is that this isn't a journey you're meant to take alone. This incredible access to God is designed to be lived out together. This new way isn't just about what you believe in your head. It's about being part of a community that actively encourages each other, that stirs one another up towards love and good works, and that makes gathering together a real priority.
And you know, this is such a key point. The speaker is basically saying, hey, you're going to miss out on the full, multifaceted beauty of this new life if you try to do this independent Christian thing. The very nature of this faith, this restored relationship, it's meant to be expressed and strengthened when we're connected to one another. Which leaves us with one last thing to think about. I mean, this isn't just cool theology to know. If a perfect, permanent bridge to God really exists, one built by God himself, it completely changes the nature of the path we walk every single day. The question is, how does it change the way you walk?